We all know the story of Naruto and his rise to become Hokage. I mean, why else would you click on this video? But today's video asks the question of what would happen if Naruto was betrayed by the village and locked away, never to be seen again. How would this affect the story? Well, stick around to find out.
Hey Ross, sauce it up.
Naruto, get back here! We see Mizuki following Naruto using the transformation jutsu as to fool him, but it's soon revealed to be Iruka transformed as Naruto, as he then falls to the ground as Mizuki asks him, why? Why do all this for some demon kid? And Iruka would turn to him as he would say, Naruto isn't... But before he could finish that sentence, a kunai would strike him directly in the throat, and Mizuki would turn to see a man in a robe, as he would look at him and scream, what? Wait, no, we had a deal! Then, you hear a blood-curdling stream come off of Mizuki's direction, as from here, he would fall dead on the ground. From here, we then cut to see it's revealed to be that of Danzo, a member of the Council of Elders, I believe, and also like the second in command for the village, I'm pretty sure. That says, from here, he would turn to the direction where Naruto's hiding behind his tree, as he would say, you can come out now, it's safe. And from here, we cut to Naruto revealing himself, as Danzo would go on to tell Naruto that he'll be fine now, that he's a village elder, and he'll take him somewhere safe to get checked up on. From here, we see Naruto saying, gee, thanks old man, I thought I was a goner. He looks to the direction of Iruka and Mizuki, and he would be shocked. I mean, at this point, Naruto still hasn't seen a dead body. He would think to himself that they try to trick him, but what good is it now to explain things? He looks at Danzo and says, oh wait, actually, they tried tricking me into taking the scroll. Sorry I even took it. I only was able to manage to learn one jutsu from it. And Danzo would look shocked as he hears this coming from Naruto. He doesn't bother asking him any further, and from here, he would take Naruto to that of the Root Shinobi compound, where Naruto states that he's never seen this part of the village before. Danzo would look at him with a smile, as he would then go on to smack Naruto in the back of the neck, knocking Naruto unconscious. And by the time that he wakes up, we see Naruto held up by chains in a dark room, with seals all over his body, as he begins screaming, hey, what's the big idea? What's going on? Suddenly, Danzo would appear from the shadows and say, Naruto Uzumaki, I've had my eye on you for a long time. Do you remember when you were 4 years old and suddenly people began treating you differently? Why do you think that is? Naruto just says that he doesn't know, and Danzo smiles, telling him that he was the one who told the village. He was the one who ruined Naruto's life. He exposed the secret of the Nine Tails Jinchuriki in order to manipulate him to join him. But now he had a better idea. He would then go on to explain how Hiruzen got in the way of his plan, and that we both know how that turned out. He ended up growing up in a different environment than what he would have liked. He would have loved to have him as an Anbu member for him, but that didn't quite pan out. From here, we would reveal Danzo's true intentions and how he created a plan and tricked Mizuki into telling Naruto to stake the scroll in exchange for power and money in the village. And also, Hiruzen, in the original canon events, he would have been using a crystal ball to watch everything that was going on. But we never see that ever happen again. He never goes on to use the crystal ball ever. So I'm just going to be excluding the crystal ball from the series, so Hiruzen has no idea of what's going on. And so, we cut to Danzo explaining his plan. See, I had a little longer to think about how I was going to acquire you. And since I can't exactly simply unseal the Nine Tails within you at this present time, I decided I was going to be keeping you here for safekeeping, for the sake of the village. You see, that beast within you is extremely powerful, and for the next couple of years, that is, if you need to be around that long, you will get 1 meal a day, just enough water to survive. So don't go dying on me, brat. he would walk out of the room and we would just cut to see Naruto screaming, "Hey, wait, get back here!" But nothing. "You won't get away with this, old man. He'll find me. Hiruzen will find me." But nothing. That's all he could think of for the next 2 years. Hoping, praying Hiruzen would come, thinking that he hasn't forgot about me, right? The truth is, Hiruzen didn't forget about Naruto. There wasn't a day that went by that he didn't think about Naruto's fate and what could have possibly happened to him. As for the villagers, they couldn't be happier. They're glad that Demon Fox was out of their lives, and they're glad that they can finally speak freely about these matters. With his disappearance and possible death, they can all sleep easy at night, knowing that the Jinchuriki is gone from the village. For the following next 2 years, he would sit there in chains, wondering if this will ever end. Naruto has been locked up for years, and every day his body just gets weaker and weaker. He eventually gives up hope of Hiruzen ever finding him after 3 years, and every time Danzo would come visit Naruto, which was rare, he simply went on and on about how it's for the good of the village, and how this way the village will be safe when the time comes, telling Naruto that this is the only way. He would also tell him how much the villagers hated him, and that he's better off here, safe in this dark, cold room with an ominous smile. That for the past 3 years, the village has only known peace because of his disappearance. And Naruto, well, Naruto hasn't known anything that's been going on the outside world. It's not as if he has somebody to tell him the news. At this point, Hiruzen's death has already happened. The Konoha Crush arc, that already happened. And so, a new Hokage was appointed. As for Danzo not to be appointed, Jiraiya ended up having to go after Tsunade alone, and once he found her and brought her back to the village, he was able to successfully make her the next Kage. Danzo would have been extremely upset at this fact, but there was nothing he could have possibly done. And these are just some of the events that Naruto would miss. He would never go on to meet Sasuke, never create bonds with his sensei Kakashi, never create that best friend rivalry with Sasuke Uchiha, and never know of the disappearance of the same kid, Sasuke. So now, Naruto's more of just a shell of his former self, and all he could think of was killing Danzo, not even escaping, but feeling the satisfaction of feeling the warmth of Danzo's blood as he rips his life from his body, after subjugating him to every piece of the same torture that he went through. But he knows that in this state, this skeletal, powerless state, he can do nothing, and it infuriates him. Around this time, Kurama would finally have the seal weaken just enough so that he could speak to Naruto. And one day, as Naruto was looking down at the floor, accepting his fate, simply waiting for the day of his death to arrive, he would hear words come from seemingly nowhere. "Naruto, Naruto, I can help you escape," the Nine-Tails would say, as Naruto would look around confused as he could not tell where this voice was coming from. He would say, "What? Who? Who's there? What do you want?" As these voices that Naruto could hear was giving him chills all throughout his body. He suddenly feels himself go into a place that he's never been to, a dark place with a giant cage and a beast behind it. He would look at Naruto's direction and say, "I know what you want. You want to escape this place. You want to release those emotions. I can feel it. I have a connection to you, Naruto. I can feel the rage, the lust, the vengeance. I know how you're feeling, because that's how I feel trapped inside of this body for the past 14 years, but I can help you escape if you can help me." Naruto would look at the demon fox behind the cage as it finally clicks within his mind, and he realizes this is the fox. This is the thing responsible for his fate for the past 3 years. And Naruto can't help but look at the Nine-Tails as he would say, "Yeah, what about it?" The fox would then go on to explain that he could help him escape with his power. He could let Naruto leave this place. But Naruto would simply look at the fox as he would say, "And why should I accept your help when you're the sole reason I'm even here? It's your fault that the village hates me. It's your fault for everything. You took my freedom, my parents, my life from me. You took everything I could have ever known." He then looks to him and says, "Danzo told me everything, And while I hate that man with every ounce of my being, I know he wasn't lying. He can't trust either of them. Not Danzo, not Kurama. But Kurama would simply yell, "Have it your way, brat," as he would try to claw away at Naruto, who at this point looks at him with a death stare, an unwavering expression, with these emotions flaring up. But Naruto would simply go on to ignore Kurama for the next month. His hate for the villagers would begin growing day by day, and with every passing second, Naruto would ache to escape and destroy this village with all his heart. It's all he could think about. And one day, he would call out to the fox and tell him he'll do it, but only if they make a deal. Naruto would go on to tell Kurama that he'll remove his seal if he helps him destroy this village once and for all. After that, he'll be free to do as he pleases. Kurama would smile ominously as he accepts these terms and gives Naruto a taste of his power, causing Naruto to feel power like never before as he's slightly able to move the change from his body. But he needs more power. It's as if his strength was rekindled and Naruto feels empowered like never before. He would get closer to the seal as he begins strengthening his will and decides that this is what he wants. He goes to begin ripping the seal off, but suddenly a man with blonde hair would appear before Naruto, his father, Minato Namikaze, the 4th Hokage. Naruto would look to him and say, "What are you doing here?" As he looks at Naruto, and by him I mean what's called Minato, and he would tell him, "Don't do it, Naruto. That Kurama will break free, and he should not trust Kurama in any way," causing Naruto to look at him with hate in his eyes as he says, "I don't care," before then proceeding to attack Minato, causing his chakra to disperse and leave the realm. Naruto would then look to Kurama as he would place the seal back up and say that maybe what he said was true, and ask, what's stopping Kurama from betraying Naruto and taking over his body? With Kurama saying, "We have a common goal, Naruto. I won't betray you." As for him being set free, he'll be able to do as he pleases, so there's no need for that. But Naruto would say that he can't be certain, and that as things stand, he can't risk it yet, saying he wants to be the one to destroy this village and everyone in it, not Kurama. As he then goes on to walk away, as Kurama tells Naruto, "Come back, brat. Come back, you're making a mistake." But Naruto simply decides he'd rather rot than let anybody else use him again. And so, he waits as weeks go by, and eventually Danzo comes in the room and tells Naruto that the time may very well be coming soon, that he will need Naruto's power. As Naruto looks at him and spits at him, causing Danzo to beat him with his cane. This leads to Naruto's rage rising to an all-time high, and he would visit Kurama once more that same day after Danzo left, telling him that he can do as he pleases so long as he helps him destroy this village. After, his body is his. And Kurama, hearing this, thinks about it slightly as he tells Naruto that they have a deal. But for now, Naruto is just going to have to give up the reins of his body up for Kurama to get them out of there. And so, Naruto does so. He rips the seal off completely and goes on to shatter the chains that held Naruto down. As Naruto's body grows in size and chakra begins to flow out in every direction, Naruto proceeds to go on an onslaught of murdering countless root shinobi as he breaks down the door that was holding him back. All of these shinobi were pointlessly trying to stop Kurama, who controlled Naruto, but he would shoot out tailed beast bombs at their direction and forge an exit as he runs off at the top speeds that he could possibly muster with his weak body, so that not a single ninja could possibly catch up, and using his knowledge of the world would cover his tracks quite well, as he would smile thinking, "It's done." Suddenly, Naruto snaps back into control, with Kurama shocked that he could even do that. But Naruto would say that his will to slaughter and kill everyone in that damned village is what gives him the strength to keep going every single day. As he asks, "Where to now?" Kurama looks at him as he would tell him that he needs to find a training area, as for the next year and a couple months, he will be training his body and learning jutsus to help Naruto with his goals. For the next year, Naruto would begin training harder than anyone has ever trained in the Naruto series before, taking full advantage of the multi-shadow clone jutsu, as well as Kurama's chakra, to access a powerful state of ominous red chakra. Not KCM, but a state very, very similar. Think back to the if Naruto joined the Akatsuki animation series, something similar to that. That said, Naruto would spend night and day working on his body and hunting for food every day, stealing from villages any water that he may need, and taking resources as he so pleases. He would begin working on his taijutsu from the moment that he wakes up till 12. Then after, he would work on ninjutsu, and following that, genjutsu. He would then go on to work on his kenjutsu skills, which is basically using a sword, and go right back to taijutsu in the morning. He works also on the Uzumaki's chain techniques, which he ends up figuring out through his own a little bit of inspiration from Kurama and him telling him what his mother was like, and also wanting to trap Danzo in a state where he was like, wanting to chain him up. Eventually though, Naruto, after all this time, was now unrecognizable from what we once knew, looking completely different than the kid that we knew in Naruto Part 1. Now, Naruto would cut his long hair off and his pupils looked dead. He had this aura of rage and vengefulness to him, and his personality is no longer the kind-hearted goofball we knew. That's gone, and we're now left with every ounce of hate and rage that Naruto has ever felt inside. Think evil Naruto from when he faced his literal demons, except 10 times darker, who's also even more powerful. Naruto at this point is becoming far more powerful as the days go by, and all that's on Naruto's mind is the destruction of the village that betrayed him, and Danzo's death. Naruto would be getting closer to this each and every day by training alongside Kurama, as he would tell him ways to quickly improve himself, and their relation would be parasitical, in the sense that they are only there to achieve what they both want, nothing close to a friendship. Think more like Sukuna and Itadori from Jujutsu Kaisen. That said, as the day approached for Naruto's birthday, he would decide that that's the day the village will pay. His 16th birthday. Kinda poetic in a sense, since that's the day the Nine Tails was sealed away, and the day it will finally be unleashed for the village once more. Not only that, but it's the day that Naruto will make everyone pay for his treatment through the years. For about 2 days, Naruto would travel on a linear path to arrive to Konoha, until eventually he would arrive at the village borders, where he would silently and swiftly body flicker to the Hokage monument, where he would watch as the village is in just utter peace. Nothing's wrong, it's as if everything is so much better without him, and Naruto would feel rage boiling to the surface, just looking at it with utter disgust, thinking to himself that this is the day, as Naruto would tap into the power of Kurama and charge up a massive Biju bomb, large enough to destroy a huge chunk of the village and the present Kage Tsunade. He charges it up and one thing would be on his mind, as it would echo through him. The villagers' hatred and disgust that he would have felt for every year on his birthday. He was shunned, ridiculed, and all alone for something he could have never possibly controlled, like the Nine Tails. But now Naruto has power, and he will get his revenge. Naruto would then watch with a smile as his Biju bomb eradicates every villager in its path, ninja and Kage alike. Tsunade would perish, and nobody would have even a second to react to the attack. And by the time that the explosion was heard, hundreds had already died. It annihilated about 1/3 of the village, and after the explosion was heard, every ninja in the vicinity was alerted and rushed to the direction of Naruto, where he stood and laughed maniacally, saying, "To this day, this village falls." As Ninja would appear before Naruto and he would rush in with his blade as he begins cutting down every ninja in sight. Hundreds would appear, but this would not be a problem for Naruto as he rushes in using his superior skill and taijutsu abilities that he would have learned training alongside Kurama to completely outclass every single person before him. Naruto was capable of putting up a fight against all of them at the same time, reacting to each movement individually with his great speed coming from the amps that Kurama is giving him, and anytime that he is nicked, his wounds would immediately heal. Eventually the top ranked Jonin would arrive as they would stand before Naruto, and Kakashi would be shocked, saying, "Naruto? Is that..." But he would simply smile and rush to Kurenai, who attempted to place him under Genjutsu, only for Naruto to Uno reverse that and hit her with the meanest uppercut, sending her flying to the ground, followed by an Inferno-style flame jutsu that burnt her heavily, as Asuma was forced to watch her die. In a rage, he would coat his kunai with his chakra as he rushes in at Naruto with a taijutsu onslaught. But Naruto, with pure strength, was enough to outclass him completely, as he would grab Asuma with the chakra arm and rip him directly in half, crushing him, similar to what Gaara would do with the sand coffin, as Guy and Kakashi would be forced to watch, not being able to react fast enough. Guy would instantly say, "That's enough," before then saying, "Kakashi, I'll handle this." He would then place his hand on his chest and he would open the 7th gate, as they are both now beginning to be enraged, and we see Guy activate, like I said, the 7th gate, as he would rush at Naruto with speed Naruto has never seen before, sending Naruto flying back, as Naruto would be forced to roll on the ground and pick himself back up, barely being able to track Guy's movements. As he would begin fighting for him more and more, Kakashi would then jump into the battle and begin using his own taijutsu abilities, beginning to slightly overwhelm Naruto, until eventually he gets used to this and begins to read them both like books. He would then proceed to create thousands of clones to push Guy back and decide to heal, as he will tell Guy that he'll annihilate him here and there. And the next 1,000 clones would rush in at Guy, holding him still in one position, hitting him with so much chakra and so many attacks that it was almost impossible for Guy to move. Guy tried to activate the 8th gate, but it was too late, and Naruto, by the point that he could have even reacted, would have also been holding Kakashi back with a bunch of clones of his own, as he would say, "Die!" And he would charge a massive Biju bomb that destroys hundreds of clones and completely obliterates Might Guy and another massive portion of the village. At this point, he ended up murdering a bunch of the rookie 12 that we would have known. A bunch of them would have died with the first explosion, but many of them died with the last. And now, it's almost as if nobody's left to stand before Naruto other than Kakashi and Guy. Eventually, however, they would begin being overwhelmed by the hundreds of thousands of clones with this immense power, and Kakashi was not having a fun time. Naruto would laugh as he creates thousands of more clones, saying that if this isn't enough, how about this? What if each clone creates 1,000 more? And he would end up pretty much engulfing the entire battlefield with nothing but Narutos, as he would send them off to murder villagers individually in the most gruesome ways possible. Every time one would get wounded or one would be damaged, Naruto would feel relish in the fact that these villagers are trying their hardest to fight back, and every time this would happen and they would call him a demon, he would relish in that. His chakra signals would begin overflowing, and Naruto could feel so much pleasure coming off of the slaughtering of these villagers. Eventually though, Danzo would appear after Might Guy and Kakashi's death, and he would tell him that he has fallen far from grace, saying that he only did what he did for the sake of the village, and now there is no village. As he reveals his Sharingan from his hands and tries placing Naruto under a Genjutsu, but Naruto would blitz him and rip his arm off completely before smashing his skull in with his fist, and then thinking it's over. But Danzo would appear from behind him as he stabs Naruto near a vital organ, and Naruto would cough out blood as he laughs and says, "He gets to kill him again, and again, and again," as he rips out a blade, and he would heal instantly, as black markings would begin covering his body and his vision would become blurry. The Nine Tails itself would coat Naruto in his gigantic aura that he would use to pretty much destroy Danzo. Naruto's vision would become blurry as he murders Danzo once more, and again, until Danzo finally has one life left, and he tries to self-destruct, but Naruto would grab him by the face, smashing him into the ground, telling him that this is not the time or the place to do something like that, using his brand new chakra chain jutsu to trap Danzo, rendering him useless, as Naruto would laugh and ask him if he remembers this, as he beats on Danzo's body until he simply couldn't handle it anymore, and Danzo would die. But even after that, Naruto would beat Danzo to a pulp, and after this said fact, his corpse would be an unrecognizable mess. The village would be inflamed and chaos would ensue. The Hokage monuments would be destroyed, and every single living being that would have been in the village before is now dead and eradicated. These results are even worse than the catastrophic devastation that Pain would have shot to the village. A crater so massive that it was insane to comprehend how it could have gotten there would be in its place, and nights and days would pass as Naruto could feel the last of his essence fade from his body. as he just lets out one last Biju bomb, wiping Konoha off the face of the map. The largest Biju bomb that the world has ever seen would leave a massive crater in the earth, as he would close his eyes and fall back, only to be caught by Kurama, who now took full control over Naruto. His pupils would fully change colors, and Naruto would smile in an ominous voice as he would say, "Finally." Alright, so you made it to the end of the video. What did you think of the story? I'm pretty sure there's one thing that a lot of you guys could probably point to. Xander, did you copy Smugstick? Yes, I took heavy inspiration from Smugstick, as well as Call Me Arj. In case you guys don't know who they are incredible YouTubers who do Dragon Ball, What Ifs, respectively. Now, they are awesome, and I genuinely recommend you guys go watch Call Me Arj. He has this amazing series called Ultra Vegito, and Smugstick's What If Goku Was Betrayed series is just so amazing. Like, it's awesome, but I'm getting ahead of myself. That said though, let me know what you guys thought of the video, and also if this video ends up breaking a ton of support or a ton of likes, I will continue, because I'm not gonna lie, I didn't exactly tie this what if together with a perfect knot and leave all the questions unanswered. Keep in mind, Kurama destroying the village is going to leave a bad impression in the mouths of all the other villages. The Akatsuki is going to be pressed, and Itachi, who is like sacrificed everything for the village, is going to be mad pressed. So just keep that in mind. If you guys want to see something like that, just like the video up, share it with a friend, comment down below, and yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.